In today's video,
this thing is mental.
Hi everyone. A lot of people have asked about titanium burners to save weight. I picked one up for another project, so let's have a look at it. Came branded as Boundless Voyage in this bag, which is rather heavy, so I wouldn't be using that. As you can see, it has the branded Voyage branding on the front, on the side. But I've seen the same one under different names, and it was bundled with this cross stand, as we have here. Just a simple one. But more about the combo a bit later. First of all, let's have a look at the weight. "42 grams. That's light. And if we add the stand, 64 grams. So that's light enough. Now, if we compare it with a triangular burner without the lid or the simmer ring, "71 grams. So the triangular burner is about 30 grams heavier, but we have to allow for the fact that this one has been used, and the wick inside will still be soaked with fuel, so that's a couple of grams. Still, the titanium one is significantly lighter. However, is lighter always better? So let's take a look. And I'll start with a few things that immediately jump out at me. There's no lid, and no way of attaching a lid to seal the burner. I could print a TPU cap, but it wouldn't cover these small holes here. I would need to pour any unused fuel back into the fuel bottle, and I would need to keep the burner in a sealed container, especially if carrying it as part of a cook kit. If we compare it to the triangular burner, this one has 2 tiers of holes. Triangular has 1, but the triangular burner's holes are all closer together, even if you take into account how the holes are on here. These are all closer together. It'll be interesting to see how this one works. Then we have the cross stand. No doubt everyone has seen these before. I've never actually used one myself. And if you want to know why, well, just wait a minute, I'll tell you. But first of all, it fits perfectly. Not much movement at all. It packs away compactly. They usually come with a little ring that you can use to keep them together. This one will fit on the Tatonka burner and also the triangular burner. So it's multi-purpose. But how do you simmer? I can put the simmer ring on from a triangular or a clone, no problem. But you can't simmer it with the cross stand on it. No use if you want to actually cook anything. Then there's snuffing out the burner. It didn't come with an extinguisher or a simmer ring. The stand negates extinguishing with the stand on, so I need to either pop it off with a knife or my lighter or a stick, or use a multi-tool and make sure I get the right side so it doesn't all fall to bits. Now I have the possibility of my clumsy hands tipping over the burner. I would need to carry a heavy multi-tool or tongs to remove it. And at this point I must point out for anyone wishing to comment that I have been going to occupational therapy and physio for 1.5 years for my wrist and hand. So bear with me when I say I don't like having to remove hot and volatile items with a clumsy hand. Now in the past people have poo-pooed my complaints about usability of some burners and attachments like the Trangia pot stand for the triangle. But come on, good design should be a thing. I replaced my Trangia simmer rings with the Chinese clones. They're not as good quality, but they have this very, very handy handle on them, which makes using them so much easier. Surely extinguishing the burner shouldn't involve having to take a pot stand off. Maybe that's just me. Personally, I'd prefer to use this with a different pot stand. It won't fit in the triangle, it's just slightly too small, but it will fit into the mini and micro stands and their copies. However, for this test, we're just going to use the stand it came with. I don't know if it's optimized for height. I don't know if it will be as efficient with this pot stand, or it will be less efficient. To keep it light, I'll be using this titanium pot. I use it with my excellent Speedster burner and stand. As you can see, it's well used. Just out of interest, the Speedster burner and its stand weighs 18 grams. It has a cap, it doesn't leak, it's spill proof, but it also doesn't simmer. Some people have adapted simmer rings for it. I don't bother. It's my go-to when I'm going lightweight and I'm just carrying dehydrated food. All I need to do is boil water anyway for that. So, first of all, we shall fuel this up for the first time using bioethanol. And to be fair, we shall leave it so that the wick soaks. Okay, so we'll just put the stand back on. It hasn't actually gone down by very much at all, so I don't know how well it's soaked in. 300 mils into the titanium mug. Get the timer. Switch off some of the lights. Action. Okay, I'll wait until it blooms and I'll just move it away slightly from the camera. Have the ring ready And I'll get my multi-tool ready as well. Now, it's taking quite a bit of time to bloom, but well, it's a new burner, we'll give it time. That's it starting to bloom a little bit. It is taking longer than a Trangia would. And probably longer than the Tatonka as well, which is all steel. Now remember, there's no breeze in here. I'm doing this inside. Outside, of course, I would be using a windshield. It's a very interesting flame pattern, isn't it? And I think we can say that that is ready. And just listen to that sound. Can you hear that? That isn't the pot, that is the actual burner. If we zoom in, you can see just how high those flames are, licking round the pot. And now you can see why I would be a bit perturbed extinguishing this. This thing is mental. I think if I had used my kettle, it would be a little bit safer. I have silicone rings on the pot handles and I can actually smell them. Personally, I don't find this very safe. Okay, it says 3:23 on the timer, but I think it was probably boiling at 3 minutes. And no wonder that flame was ferocious. It was actually quite scary. Now the burner, because it's titanium, it's almost ready to pick up. I don't know what the stand is made out of. I don't know how you're supposed to extinguish this thing without a simmer ring. Even with the simmer ring, this one has a hole. It doesn't totally cut off the holes at the bottom. I had to blow it out. Maybe I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, but I didn't like that very much. And the worst thing is, I'm going to have to use this again for a future video. That'll be fun. So anyway, thanks for watching. I had been hoping to bring you another meta stove this week, but it's that time of year. And talking about that time of year, I'd just like to wish all my subscribers and viewers a very Merry Christmas. If you liked what you saw, give it a thumbs up and maybe think about subscribing. So, everyone, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next week with yet another stove video. Bye for now.